Long ago, in the village of Kuto, there was a woman named Mama Julie who longed for a child. Every night, she prayed to the moon goddess, asking for a daughter. One night, as she sat by the river, an old woman with a cane approached her. "Do you still wish for a child?" the woman asked. "Yes, with all my heart," she replied. The old woman gave her a tiny seed. "Plant this by your heart, and your child will come." She did as she was told. Soon after, she became pregnant. 9 months later, she gave birth to a baby girl and named her Nia, which means purpose. Little did she know, Nia was special, so special that some in the village would try to destroy her. When Nia was born, the village seer, Baba Oko, had a vision. He saw Nia standing on a hill, holding a golden staff, while the entire village bowed before her. "This child will be great," Baba Oko whispered. But many would try to stop her. The village chief heard of the prophecy. His heart filled with fear. "No girl will ever rule," he said. "I will make sure of it." As Nia grew, strange things happened. The crops in Mother's farm flourished while others withered. Rain came when Nia danced under the sky. Birds sang sweet songs whenever she walked by. But not everyone was happy. The chief's wife, and her daughters, watched with jealousy. "She is stealing our honor. If she is not stopped, she will take everything from us," one of them hissed. That night, they went to the Shadow Man, a feared sorcerer who lived in the deep forest. "Make her weak. Make her mad," they begged. The Shadow Man grinned. "Consider it done." The next morning, Nia woke up feeling strange. Her head ached, and her body felt heavy. When she spoke, her words came out in a strange, jumbled way. People in the village whispered, "Has she lost her mind?" Her mother rushed to Baba Oko. "Help my child." But Baba Oko shook his head. "Dark magic is at work. We must break the curse before it is too late." Late at night, Mama Jean, Sephew, and Lela crept deep into the forbidden darkwood forest. There, in a cave filled with bones and strange carvings, lived the Shadow Man, a feared sorcerer. "We need your help," Mama Jean said. "There is a girl in our village. She is too powerful. Make her weak. Make her mad." The Shadow Man smiled, his teeth sharp like a hyena's. He reached into a bag and pulled out a small black stone. "Take this," he said. "Place it under her sleeping mat. By sunrise, her mind will be mine." That night, while Nia slept, Sephew and Lela slipped into her hut and placed the black stone beneath her mat. When Nia woke up, her head felt heavy. Her thoughts were tangled like vines in the forest. She tried to speak, but her words came out wrong. She tried to walk, but her legs felt weak. Villagers gathered. "What's wrong with her?" they whispered. Mama Jean stepped forward. "She has been cursed," she gasped, pretending to be shocked. "She is possessed," another woman cried. Nia tried to speak, to explain, but all that came out was gibberish. Her mother held her tight. "My child, what is happening to you?" But no one had an answer. The village elders gathered in a circle. "We cannot have a mad girl among us," Chief Oba said. "She will bring misfortune." "But she is just a child," her mother pleaded. "If she stays, the gods will be angry," an elder said. The people murmured in agreement. Finally, the chief spoke. "At sunrise, Nia must leave Kuto." Mother wept. Nia, confused and frightened, clung to her mother. "But where will she go?" her mother cried. "That is not our concern," the chief said coldly. The decision was made. Before sunrise, her mother packed a small bag of food and water for Nia. "My child, listen to me," she said. "You are not mad. This is a curse. You must find the one who can break it." "But who?" Nia asked, tears in her eyes. Seek the river woman, she whispered. She lives beyond the great forest. She will help you. Nia nodded, though fear gripped her heart. With one last hug, she stepped into the unknown. The great forest was deep and endless. The trees whispered. The wind howled. Nia walked and walked, but strange sounds followed her, cracking twigs, rustling leaves. She spun around. Nothing. Then, a growl. She turned again and saw two glowing yellow eyes staring at her from the bushes. She froze. Out of the shadows stepped a massive black leopard. Nia gasped. But instead of attacking, the leopard spoke. You are the girl they cast out, it said. Nia's mouth fell open. You can talk. Of course, the leopard said. All creatures speak. Humans just forget how to listen. Nia stared in wonder. Who are you? I am the guardian of this forest, the leopard said. And I have been waiting for you. The decision was made. He led Nia deeper into the forest. You are cursed, he said. But you are not weak. You must learn to fight. Fight? Nia asked. But I don't know how. You will learn, he said. He took her to a hidden valley, where the trees stood tall and rivers sparkled like stars. Here, you will train, he said. And so, Nia's journey truly began. Nia's first lesson was simple: survival. Find food, he said. Find water. Find shelter. But how? Nia asked. Watch the animals, he said. They know more than humans do. So Nia watched. She saw how birds found berries, how monkeys collected water from leaves, how wild dogs dug burrows for shelter. By sunset, she had found her own food, her own water, and built her own shelter. You are learning, he said. After days of training, he led Nia to a hidden river. The one you seek is here, he said. Nia stepped forward. The water began to ripple. Then, a beautiful woman rose from the river, her hair flowing like waves. I am the river woman, she said. And I know why you have come. Placed her hands on Nia's head. This is dark magic, she said. Placed by the shadow man. Can you break it? Nia asked. Not yet, she said. First, you must face him yourself. Nia's heart pounded. But how? He is too strong. Mama smiled. Not if you learn the old ways. And so, Nia began a new kind of training. Mama El taught Nia how to speak to the elements, to call the wind, to feel the earth, to listen to the water. You are not just a girl, Mama said. You are the daughter of destiny. Nia's heart swelled. She was not weak. She was meant for something greater. The morning after Nia met Mama, the river woman, she woke to the sound of whispering waters. Today, your training truly begins, Mama said. Nia sat up. What must I do? You must pass the 3 trials of strength, Mama said. Only then will you have the power to defeat the shadow man. Nia nodded. She was ready. But she did not know what dangers awaited her. The first trial was the trial of fire. Mama led Nia to a burning field, where flames danced like spirits. In this trial, Mama said, you must walk through the fire and find the flame stone hidden at its heart. Nia's eyes widened. But I will burn. Mama shook her head. Fire does not harm those who respect it. Nia took a deep breath and stepped forward. The flames reached for her, but she did not scream. Instead, she remembered the stories her mother used to tell her about the fire spirits. She whispered to the flames, I do not come to destroy. I come to learn. At once, the fire parted, making a path for her. At the center of the field, she saw a glowing red stone. She picked it up, and the flames vanished. You have passed the first trial, Mama said. But the next will be harder. For the second trial, Mama led Nia to the great river. You must cross these waters, Mama said, but you may not swim or use a boat. Nia frowned. Then how? That is for you to discover. The river was wide and wild, its waves crashing against the rocks. Nia sat by the shore, thinking. Then she remembered, water listens. She closed her eyes and whispered, "O great river, I ask for your help." The water stirred, then rose like a bridge beneath her feet. Carefully, she stepped onto the water and walked across. As soon as she reached the other side, the water returned to its normal flow. Mama smiled. You have passed the second trial. But one more remained. The final trial was held in the sacred caves beneath the earth. In this trial, Mama said, you must find your way out of the cave of echoes before the sun rises. If you fail, you will be trapped forever. Nia shivered. She stepped inside the dark cave. At once, the entrance vanished. She was surrounded by whispers. Turn back. You will never escape. This is your end. Fear crept into her heart. But then she remembered something the leopard had told her. The earth speaks in many voices. Learn to listen. Nia took a deep breath and placed her hands on the cold stone wall. She felt a faint vibration, a pulse, like a heartbeat. She followed it, step by step, until she saw a faint glow ahead. She ran toward it, and suddenly, she was outside. You have passed the final trial, Mama said. Now, you are ready. That night, Nia sat by the river, exhausted but proud. You are no longer just a girl, Mama said. You are a child of the greats. And now, the ancestors will give you their blessing. Mama placed her hands on Nia's forehead. At once, Nia saw visions, her grandmother, her great-grandmother, and all those who came before her. Nia, they whispered, you have awakened. Now, take your place. Power flowed through her veins. She was ready to face the Shadow Man. The next morning, dark clouds gathered over the land. The Shadow Man knows you are coming, Mama warned. He is preparing for war. Nia clenched her fist. I am not afraid, she said. The leopard stepped beside her. Then let us begin. Together, they left the sacred river and returned toward Kuto village. As Nia approached Kuto, she expected a warm welcome. But instead, she found the villagers waiting with spears. You are not welcome here, Chief Oba said. Nia was stunned. But I have come to save you. Mama Tulu stepped forward. Save us. Or curse us again. The villagers murmured in fear. Sefiu and Lela smirked. Their lies had worked. Nia's heart ached. How could her own people betray her? Before Nia could respond, a strong wind howled through the village. The sky darkened, and a deep laugh echoed from the hills. He is here, Nia whispered. The Shadow Man had come. Out of the mist, figures appeared, dark creatures with glowing red eyes. The Shadow Man stepped forward, cloaked in black smoke. You cannot defeat me, little girl, he hissed. But Nia stood tall. I am not afraid of you. The battle was about to begin. With a flick of his hand, the Shadow Man sent a wave of darkness toward Nia. She raised her hands, calling upon the wind. A mighty gust blew the darkness away. The villagers gasped. Nia was fighting back. Sefiu and Lela watched in horror. This was not supposed to happen. Lela hissed. They had betrayed Nia, but now, they saw the truth. The Shadow Man will not spare us, Sefiu whispered. They had chosen the wrong side. The battle raged on. Nia stomped her foot, and the ground shook, knocking the shadow creatures down. The villagers watched in awe. Maybe Maybe Nia was their savior after all. Mama Tulu tried to run, but the spirits of the ancestors surrounded her. You turned against your own blood, they whispered. Mama Tulu screamed as darkness swallowed her whole. Her evil had sealed her fate. Nia faced the shadow man. It is over, she said. He laughed. You cannot destroy me. Maybe not, Nia said. But light can. She called upon the sun, and golden light exploded from her hands. The shadow man shrieked as the light consumed him. And then, he was gone. The sun rose over Kuto village. The darkness was gone. The people bowed before Nia. You are our true leader, they said. Nia smiled. Her journey was only beginning. The village of Kuto stood in silence. The battle was over. The shadow man was gone. And now, the people looked at Nia with wide eyes. The prophecy was true, an elder whispered. Chief Oba, his face pale with shame, stepped forward. We cast you out. We did not believe in you. Nia stared at him. She should have been angry. But instead, she felt pity. You were blinded by fear, she said. But I did not fight for revenge. I fought to save our people. A murmur spread through the crowd. She is the true leader, someone whispered. She should be our queen, another voice said. Nia's heart pounded. Queen. She had only wanted to find her way back home. She had not expected this. Chief's face twisted in anger. This girl cannot rule, he snapped. She is too young. But she has done what no one else could, an elder said. She defeated the shadow man, another added. Chief's hands clenched. He had ruled for many years. He had power. And he did not want to give it up. But the people had spoken. Oba Jallo had a choice, step down or risk rebellion. With a heavy heart, he sighed. If the ancestors have chosen her, then so be it. The village prepared for the greatest ceremony in Kuto's history. Drums echoed through the land. Fires burned bright. Dancers painted in red and gold moved in circles. Mama Julie watched with tears in her eyes. My daughter, she whispered. Finally, Nia stepped forward. Elders placed a crown of golden beads on her head. You are now Queen Nia of Kuto, Baba Oko declared. The people cheered, their voices shaking the earth. But deep in the shadows, a pair of unseen eyes watched. Something was not over yet. Days passed in peace. But Nia could not shake the feeling that something was wrong. One night, as she sat by the river, she heard a voice. Did you think I was truly gone? Her blood ran cold. She turned, and standing in the trees was the shadow man. But I destroyed you. Nia gasped. The shadow man laughed, his form flickering like smoke. You cannot destroy darkness, little queen. You can only keep it at bay. And then, he vanished. Nia clenched her fist. The fight was not over. The next morning, Nia called for Baba Oko, the village seer. I saw the shadow man, she told him. He is not truly gone. Baba Oko's face darkened. Then it is time you learn the truth. He led Nia to the cave of the ancestors, deep in the forest. There, ancient carvings told a story Nia had never heard. The shadow man was once a great warrior, Baba Oko explained. But he was cursed for his greed. He will return again and again, unless you find his true weakness. Nia stared at the carvings. A symbol stood out, a golden feather. What does this mean? She asked. Baba Oko sighed. You must seek the golden rule. Nia gathered her things and set out before dawn. The leopard walked beside her. The golden rule lives on the mountain of fire, he said. But the journey is dangerous. I am ready, Nia said. But deep inside, she wondered, what if she failed? On the second day of their journey, Nia and Leopard reached a roaring river. "The only way across is to swim," Zubri said. But the water was strange, dark and swirling, as if something lived beneath. Then, a claw shot out of the water. A giant crocodile spirit rose from the depths. Its eyes glowed red. "You cannot pass," it hissed. Nia stood her ground. "I do not wish to fight you," she said. The crocodile spirit paused. Then, in a softer voice, it said, "Tell me a story, and I will let you pass." Nia smiled. She had grown up with stories. She sat by the river and spoke of her journey, her trials, and her dreams. When she finished, the crocodile spirit nodded. "You have a good heart," it said. "You may cross." And just like that, the river parted, allowing them to walk across. The mountain of fire was taller than the sky. Flames burned from its peak, and the air was thick with smoke. "The golden rule is inside," Zubri said. Nia took a deep breath and began to climb. The rocks burned her hands. The air was thin. But she did not stop. At last, she reached the top. And there, in a nest made of fire, sat the golden rule. The golden rule turned its golden eyes on Nia. "Why have you come?" it asked. Nia knelt. "I seek the feather that can defeat the shadow man." The rule studied her for a long time. "You have faced fear. You have shown wisdom. You are worthy." Then, it plucked a single golden feather from its wing and placed it in Nia's hands. "Use this wisely," it said. As soon as Nia touched the feather, a burst of energy rushed through her body. She had found the shadow man's true weakness. And now, it was time to end this. Nia raced back to Kuto. The village was under attack. The shadow man had returned, and dark creatures filled the sky. But this time, Nia was ready. She raised the golden feather high. Light exploded from it, covering the village in golden fire. The shadow man screamed as the light wrapped around him. "You cannot destroy me," he roared. "Maybe not," Nia said. "But I can banish you forever." With a final shout, she struck him with the feather. The shadow man's form shattered, his darkness swallowed by the light. At last, he was gone. The village erupted in cheers. Nia had saved them again. She was not just a girl. She was not just a queen. She was a legend. As the golden light faded, the people of Kuto stood in silence, staring at Nia. She had done the impossible. Then, a loud cheer erupted. "Our queen," someone shouted. "Our savior," another cried. Drums boomed across the village. Women ululated. Children danced in the dust. Mama Julie ran forward and wrapped Nia in a tight embrace. "My daughter, you have saved us all." For the first time in a long time, Nia felt at peace. But deep inside, she knew this was not the end. That night, as the village celebrated, Baba Oko pulled Nia aside. "Tell me, child," he said, his voice serious. "Did you feel it?" Nia frowned. "Feel what?" "The shadow man was destroyed," Baba Oko said. "But something remains." Nia's stomach tightened. She had felt it, the strange whisper in the wind, the way the air still felt heavy. The shadow man was gone, but his darkness had not completely vanished. The next morning, Baba Oko called a council of the elders. "There is one last thing we must do," he said. He pointed to the oldest map of Kuto. In the center was a symbol, a black spiral. "This is the forgotten temple of the ancestors," Baba Oko said. "It was built long ago to seal away great evil." Nia leaned forward. "And you think?" "Yes," Baba Oko said. "If the shadow man left any part of his darkness behind, that is where it will be." Nia knew what she had to do. One last journey. One final battle. Nia, and the leopard, and a group of warriors set out before sunrise. The forgotten temple lay deep in the great marshlands, where the ground was soft and the air was thick with mist. Few who enter the marshlands ever return, an elder warned. Nia gripped the golden feather in her hand. "I will return," she said. And with that they vanished into the wild. The marshlands were haunted. Strange shadows moved in the fog. Voices whispered from the trees. One of the warriors screamed and fell into a pool of black water, only to disappear. "The spirits here do not welcome us," Zuberi growled. "We must move faster," Nia said. But as they walked, the ground suddenly gave way beneath them. They tumbled into darkness. Nia opened her eyes. She was no longer in the marsh. She was in a dark cavern, surrounded by twisted roots and glowing blue fireflies. "Where are we?" one of the warriors whispered. Zubri sniffed the air. The shadow man's final trap. A low laugh echoed through the darkness. "You came too far, little queen," a voice whispered. Nia's heart pounded. The battle was not over yet. A figure stepped forward from the darkness. At first, Nia thought it was the shadow man. But no, it was her. A twisted, shadowy version of herself. "You think you are strong?" the shadow Nia whispered. "You think you are worthy?" The shadow lunged. Nia dodged, her heart racing. She wasn't just fighting an enemy, she was fighting her own fears. The battle raged. The shadow Nia was fast. Every time Nia struck, it vanished and reappeared behind her. But then, Nia remembered something Baba Oko had told her. The only way to defeat darkness is to accept it. Nia took a deep breath. She stopped fighting. The shadow Nia paused, confused. Then, Nia whispered, "You are a part of me. But you do not control me." The shadow froze. And then, it faded into mist. She had won. With the shadow gone, a golden door appeared in the cave wall. "This must be the entrance to the forgotten temple," Nia said. The warriors pushed it open, revealing a massive stone room. And at its center, a black crystal pulsed with dark energy. Nia's stomach twisted. The last piece of the shadow man. And it was still alive. As Nia stepped forward, the crystal shattered. Darkness erupted, swelling into a monstrous form. The shadow man's voice rang out. "You cannot destroy me. I am eternal." The warriors fell back in fear. But Nia stood her ground. She held up the golden feather. "This ends today." And she charged. The battle was like no other. Dark tendrils lashed out at Nia, but she dodged and struck back with the feather's golden light. Every hit made the darkness shrink. The shadow man screamed in rage. "You cannot win." But Nia smiled. "I already have." She raised the feather high and unleashed its full power. A blinding light filled the chamber. The shadow man let out a final, terrible scream. And then, he was gone. For the first time in centuries, the darkness was truly defeated. Nia fell to her knees, exhausted but victorious. "It is over," Zuberi whispered. At last, it was over. Nia and her warriors emerged from the marshlands, the sun rising behind them. The people of Kuto saw them return and cheered. "Our queen has returned." Mama Zina ran to embrace her. "My child," she whispered. "You have done what no one else could." Nia smiled. She was finally home. Months passed, and Kuto thrived under Nia's rule. She was wise. She was fair. And she never let power blind her. The greatest leader, she told her people, is the one who serves. And so, she ruled with kindness, never forgetting where she had come from. To celebrate their freedom, Kuto created a new tradition. The Festival of Light. Every year, on the night Nia defeated the Shadow Man, the people lit golden lanterns to remind them. Darkness may return, but light will always prevail. One evening, Zubri the leopard approached Nia. "It is time for me to leave," he said. Nia felt a pang of sadness. "But I will always be watching," Zubri said. "If ever you need me, just call." With that, he vanished into the forest. Nia smiled. She would never forget him. Years passed, and Kuto became the greatest kingdom in the land. Under Nia's rule, the people flourished. The village that once cast her out now called her their greatest leader. Stories of Queen Nia spread far and wide. People traveled from distant lands to hear her tale. She had become more than a queen. She was a legend. One night, as Nia looked at the stars, she whispered, "No one can destroy the light inside you, unless you let them." She had learned the greatest lesson of all. And so, the girl they tried to destroy became the queen who saved them all. The end. Lessons from story. Your destiny cannot be stolen, no matter how many people try to bring you down, her greatness remained within you. Even when she was cursed and cast out, she still fulfilled her purpose. Your destiny cannot be stolen, no matter how many people try to bring you down, her greatness remained within her. Even when she was cursed and cast out, she still fulfilled her purpose. I hope you enjoyed the story. If so, kindly comment, like, and share more. So, let us know what you learned from the story. Please do not hesitate to subscribe for more interesting stories like so. Hope to see back. Bye.